Hello one and all, and welcome to Behind the Glass. I'm your host, Sam, from the YouTube channel Seen Through Glass.
And I'm Tony from Gravelwood Car Sales.
Yes, you are. Each week we get together, we talk about cars, motorsport, F1, what else? Cars? We talk about cars. You can listen to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts. You can watch us on youtube.com/Behind the Glass. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications. And Tony, if people want to support this podcast, what should they do?
Watch it.
No. But also head to Patreon. You can support us on patreon.com/Behind the Glass. Thanks for tuning in. We hope you enjoyed the episode. I'm actually quite excited for this.
Are you?
We are going to be recalling every second, every minute of, I'm going to come out and say, I think our greatest adventure yet, the Mille Miglia.
Well, the fact, we're still friends.
Yeah, what? I mean, it's amazing that.
We spent 4 days in a car together, basically 15 hours a day. We'll get onto it, but I had a little bit of a wobble on, a 5-minute wobble on. We're going to get onto it. But in general, we didn't have an argument.
No.
There was no tension. We was fine, mate, which is, I thought one of us was going to punch each other in the face.
I genuinely, I'll get the nice stuff out of the way now, so I can spend the rest of the episode mobbing you up. I said it to you on the phone when we got back. I'll say it to you again. I don't think there's anyone else in the world,
Oh, bless you,
except my wife, that I could have done that trip with.
You're very kind.
Yeah.
It was hard, mate.
It was.
I'd agree, mate.
I don't know now if you've seen the main channel videos. I'm not entirely sure when this video is going out. We're recording it a couple of days after we've got back, so that all the stories are fresh in our mind, but we're holding this back until the main content has gone out on the main channel.
Yeah.
Hopefully you would have seen both parts. Maybe you've seen one part. Anyway, long story short, it was hard, and I hope that came across in the videos. It was actually it was hard to capture the most intense parts, simply because they were intense. And despite the fact we had a film crew and I had thousands of GoPros, when shit got going, there's me swearing, shit really got going.
It really hit a fan.
It really hit a fan. And there was at no point we were like, oh, Tony, can you turn the camera on? It was like, hold on. We might not make it through this. Okay, so look, let's rewind and start right at the beginning. So just again, to recap, in case you've been living under a rock and haven't heard us banging on about this damn event for the last few weeks. Mille Miglia, iconic road race, took place between 1927 1957. Back then, it was legitimately just a race. People would set off from Brescia, drive a 1,000-mile route around Italy, and try to get back in 12, 13 hours. Famously won by Sterling Moss in 10 hours in the Mercedes-Benz SLR 300 or 300 SLR. Nowadays, it's what's called a regulation rally or historic rally, which usually means that you have various stages, special stages, where essentially you have to keep sort of minimum speeds or average speeds, and then you're sort of driving along the route between those special stages. That's what we thought we were taking part in.
That isn't what happened.
What we very quickly realised was, no, we had entered a race around Italy on public roads.
In a 20-year-old Ferrari, surrounded by 1,000 horsepower modern supercars.
Oh my God. So before you turned up, before day one, and before this dawned on us, what did you think you were coming to?
What the flipping hell am I doing on this plane at 9:30 at night?
No.
I originally thought.
That's not what I asked, but thanks for the info. No, what event did you think you were attending? When I said to you, do you want to come on Mille Miglia? Or when you offered to come on Mille Miglia, what did you think you were going to be doing? What did you think the event was?
Well, I obviously knew it existed, but I obviously didn't know as much as you in terms of what the event was. But, I mean, it turned out you didn't know as much as you. We actually got there and got going. But, like, I knew what it was. I was aware of it. And a big Ferrari fan, as we both are. I kind of, when you mentioned it to me, I thought, because I'm a big Ferrari fan, I thought, you know what, like, I probably should say, yeah, I'll go. And it was like, oh, I'll let you know, because I'm going away at the end of the month and fitting it all in and with work and whatnot. And I thought, oh no, sod it. Do you know what? I'm probably not going to go again, as in, for me, it was free. So I kind of thought, well, I better go because it's free. As in, you have to. It's a lot of money to do it, by the way.
€12,000
per car.
Per car with 2 people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So supercars normally have 2 people in them.
FFs, Lusos.
Okay, fine. Did you see any FS or Lusos? 1.
I saw 1.
How many people?
2. I saw 2 FFs.
How many people did it have in
2
it?
people. Anyway, we're going to But what I'm trying to understand is, I know you've heard of Mille Miglia. Yeah. I know you knew there were Ferraris, but what did you think each day would involve? What did you think we'd be doing on this event?
I see, right, okay. So I thought, traditionally, because I do a lot of road trips, I thought lovely scenery, nice coffee shops. You know what the Italians are like? They get the buffet out, they get the ham and the cheese and the salad. And we're going to be driving nice and briskly in beautiful hills and Alps, because that's beautiful hotels.
Because those are the driving events you go on.
Correct. That's what
you'd never done a competition rally.
And I just thought it was because it was Ferrari backed, or Ferrari associated. I thought, why, this is the bit of me. This is going to be brilliant.
5-star hotels, nice people, nice locations,
everything. And then we got there.
So when I presented you with the route books,
I could not get my head around it.
The morning of day 1, you were like, "What's this?"
No. I said to you, mate, what are these? Yeah. And you. I remember you give them to me. They're in a pack, in a like a proper
binded pack.
Binded pack. 4 big books. Like, when I say like big books, like the Bible, they were huge.
Huge.
I said, mate, what are these? You said, this is the guides for the 4 days. I said, what, all 4? He said, yeah. I said, they were so big.
And the thing is, I understand where you're coming from, because if you've never done a competition rally before, if you've never even witnessed what's involved, yeah, you just assume it's a driving trip, a driving tour, like so many of these customer events that all of these big brands do. And on those events, you'll usually get handed an itinerary. Sometimes it's a bit of a lengthy itinerary, breaks it down, gives you a rough guide of where you're going. So I thought maybe you would assume that's what I was handing you. But no, because the route book is part of the competitive element, where your co-driver, and this is why you have to have a co-driver or a navigator, literally guides you between the stages. Because it's not like you put into Google, right, we finished one special stage, Google Maps to the next one.
No chance.
You have to follow a very specific route, and there are various time checks or stamps that you collect along that to make sure that you're going the right way, so that you can't cheat, essentially. And okay, what we thankfully found out is that there are little Mille Miglia signs along the route that do point where to go. But if you think, oh, well then fine, you don't need to read the route book, you're wrong, because when you're doing circa 100 miles an hour past one of these signs, as we discovered, not that all easy to just slam on the brakes and go back. So you do need to follow the route book. You really need to know where you're going.
Absolutely. And actually through the whole 1,000 miles, we only made one mistake, mate. And that was only because there was a police van parked right in front of the sign. And as you'll see in some of the videos when you watch Sam's main channel, the route book is not that easy to navigate, to be fair. And at certain stages, I would lose where we were.
Because it was sign language. It didn't say
sign language.
It didn't say continue 300 meters, turn right. It was sign language that Tony had to decode, which he did live as we left the line. Firstly, because I also didn't understand it, so it didn't matter how much we tried to break the code, like in the World War II at breakfast that morning. By the time we left, neither of us have really figured it out. No. So our plan was just follow the cars in front.
Yeah.
Problem was, and this is what we should get into now, the cars in front were SF90s.
Yeah.
And by the time we left the line, they were gone. Nowhere to be seen. And you would have known from the footage. We were like, where do we go?
And I remember when we'd gone, I opened this book up and I looked at this book and I said, oh, so I have no idea where we are, mate. I don't know what these signs are. Like Sam said, it is literally sign language, and it's turn left here, turn right here, but none of it meant anything because I didn't know what it meant, and it took me like an hour or something for me to half understand it, and then I did get it.
Then you were fantastic. Once I have to say, once you'd figured it out, it made the entire event way more enjoyable, because then as a driver, I could really focus on participating. And because Tony would call, okay, right, you've got 11 kilometers, go. Okay, turning coming up here. So I always knew what was ahead of me, so I could really plot and plan.
We wanted to win.
Well, so this is the thing is, I thought, I knew of these events, the first time really competing in one. I thought, right, it's all about these special stages with these average speeds or minimum speeds or time trials. Like, that's what it's all about. And between those stages, you know, people do what they want to do, but fundamentally, it's not a race. It's not timed. Officially, and Mille Miglia, I don't want to get in trouble for saying this, that is correct. So when you set off from the start line, it says, right, you've now got 3.5 hours to get to the next timestamp, or the what would it say? The time check.
Correct.
You got 3.5 hours.
It's like a stage.
Like a stage. You got 200 kilometers. That means you need to average 35 kilometers an hour, whatever. That was made up maths. Yeah. So it's always suggested that you can do it well within the speed limits of the road. What it turned out to be was that was not the case.
No.
So because of traffic, because of needing to stop for fuel, or wanting to stop for a coffee because the days were 15 hours long, the minute you had just taken the tiniest break, suddenly you were up against it.
Completely up against it as well. Yeah.
And if you were a minute late or either side of the minute that you were supposed to arrive at that stamp, you got penalized.
Yeah.
So you had to arrive at these stamps, these time checks, within your sort of 3 hour 30 or 2 hour 50 or whatever that window you were given. So we would always set off being like, oh, I got loads of time, we'll be fine. Let's stop for a coffee. We'd have a coffee, we'd have a chat, we'd do some filming, and somebody go, oh, hold on a sec, mate, we got 20 minutes to do 40 kilometers? Oh, no!
Better get going.
And so for day one, we couldn't work out why everyone was driving like nutters.
Well, day one we was okay, mate. It was day two that we fell behind, because day two we relaxed a bit more. Day one we was a bit urgent, although, you know, the first hour or so we didn't really know what we were doing or where we were going, and we would try and follow cars. But
we thought we'd figured it out by the end of
day one. We'd
hit all of our time checks at the right time.
Correct. The time stages. Although we got the first one up, we talk about that. We thought we'd figured it out. So if it goes into day two, loads more relaxed.
Yeah, we have a coffee, have a breakfast.
It's a long day.
Yeah, no rush.
Left the hotel at 7 a.m, so we didn't have time for breakfast. We had a quick coffee. We'll stop somewhere on the way. We get some fuel. Don't forget, people, as well, every other car on the trip was just doing the Mille Miglia. We were filming.
Mille.
It's
impossible to say, isn't it?
I can't say it, mate.
Miglia.
Miglia.
No, it's not. Anyway, both of us will say it completely differently throughout this podcast.
For sure.
Yeah, but you're right. Everyone else was there competing, exhausting enough. We were also filming.
We were trying to compete, and you were doing your job.
Yeah. Whilst
organising a film crew and organising where we are and where they were going to meet. So we had an added pressure of... Because don't forget, we wanted to compete, but quite rightly, mate, you was at work. You were trying to do your job as well.
I think I said it to you on day 3, because we got quite competitive on day 2. and then that really that messed us up. Things went a bit wrong. We'll tell the story in a second. But it meant day 3, I said to you, look, mate, as fun as this has been, as competitive as we both become, I'm here. I've got to make videos. The only reason I'm here is to make videos. If I cock up the videos, it has been a complete waste of money.
Yeah.
So that's what we've got to focus on. And if it means we drop down the order, we drop down the order. Luckily, we didn't.
We nailed day 3, mate. It was a long day, but we nailed it.
Absolutely nailed it, mate. But okay, so here we are. Day 1, we're taking off. We suddenly realised that this pace is so much faster than we realised, and because of what we think is an administrative error, but I actually have a bit of a suspicion about, we were right at the back. So the entry list is done by year of manufacturer. So there was like a 330 GTC or something like that, a 308, a couple of Challenge Stradales.
And then should have been us.
And then it should have been us. But for some reason, instead of 2002 as year of manufacture, we got put down as 2022. So literally, we were in the pack with 812 GTSs, SF90s, F8 Tributos.
Romers.
And clearly, these were the nutters of the rally.
Yeah.
Now, I don't want to ruin it for anyone. I don't want to ever stop the event from taking place. And we're probably going to now speak about the few, not the many.
Yeah. And I think what we experience and what we say won't stop the race anyway.
And it won't be everyone's experience.
It won't be everyone's experience, no.
But what we will say is that within that group, there were some drivers that were beyond dangerous.
Yeah.
Like, terrifyingly, illegally, dangerously driving.
But terrifying is like a modest word. And I'm fairly brave on the road. I drive fairly briskly on the road. I always say within my means and safely within my means. But even for me to see it, I thought, oh my God, like I cannot believe what I'm seeing.
And the reason it was so shocking and dangerous is it was within traffic.
Yeah.
Now look, if we were up on open mountain roads, which we were at various stages, I'm all for fast, quick driving.
Absolutely.
100%. We're quiet. We're by ourselves. But the times where both Tony and I were like, what are we witnessing? Let's get the heck out of this. Was even when we were in Ferrari convoy traffic. Like, okay, we've all caught up with the police convoy or the pace car. So we're now a line of 25 Ferraris. You've got SF90s lunging 812 GTSs with a truck coming towards us the opposite direction. People forcing other people off the road or forcing gaps where they don't exist. It was so shocking. And day one, that's exactly what happened. In the afternoon, we ended up in this kind of line of cars. And I was like, cool, fine. We're obviously just going to all cruise now to the next event. We must be behind the police escort or the pace car, because we were told that there's a pace car throughout the event. Like, if you ever catch a pace car, you're not allowed to overtake it. So stop for fuel and then you can do what you want. Anyway, we call up, and the overtaking of each other, like I'm talking like 3 or 4 cars wide on single track roads, like ridiculous. So we actually got out of it. I was like, I don't want to be part of this. Like we're gonna bail. And as I say, we
stopped for a coffee.
We stopped for a coffee because what's the point of this? Like it's just, and I think really the reason it seemed more dangerous than it might have been. I don't think we're overselling this. I think
we're underselling.
Maybe we're underselling
some of the stuff that we see, I've never ever seen before in my life,
and wouldn't want to, and can't believe there weren't. I genuinely can't believe there weren't fatal crashes.
Me too, mate.
Actually, like fatalities.
Well, mate, do you remember that? Do you remember the F8 Spider?
Yeah.
And then the SF90 come around the outside of him
on a blind corner.
So there was an F8 Spider that was overtaking some traffic. And I'm not saying he was overtaking at 30 or 40 mile an hour. He was overtaking quickly. He come past us.
Yeah.
And then an SF90 come round the outside of him. They're both on the wrong side of the road. The SF90 is nearly on the verge.
Kicking up dust.
Overtaking an F8 Tributo that was already going really quickly. Yeah. I mean, honestly, like
ridiculousness, right?
Some of them, mate, and some of the 812 GTSs as well. They seem to be the worst culprits. The 812 GTSs, oddly, and the SF90s. They seem to be the worst.
And I think
what we saw,
it was even more intimidating for me because of the pace differential. Because we were with this group, you know, I can only, well, firstly, I'm looking to overtake traffic safely. But secondly, the power differential, I have to really judge my gaps. You know, firstly, right-hand drive vehicle, thank God I had Tony with me to help me kind of try and judge the traffic and judge the gaps. These guys seem to think, because of the power that they had or the fact that they were on the Mille Miglia, they were invincible.
Yeah.
In their heads, they were just like, oh, well, when we have the police escorts, which on occasions you do get, and we're going to talk about, we can carve through the traffic, we can do whatever we want.
Yep.
But when you're alone, that doesn't really apply. And in their heads, they're like, oh, I've got all the power in the world. I'm on the Mille Miglia. Like, I'll just do whatever I want.
Yeah, I'm coming. I'm in a Ferrari. I'm coming through.
So I was just constantly waving people through because I'm just not going to get in the mix. Like, I'm just going to piss someone off. And all that's going to happen is I'm going to finally go for my overtake of this truck. And as I think I'm doing a good job, I'm going to look over the left, or I'm not going to notice some bell end trying to launch me around the outside as I'm already doing an overtake. So
bell end is nice.
Yeah. But, you know,
flipping hell.
We're starting on a bit of a negative, and I don't want to, but it's important for us to get out because it's something that we really couldn't, and I wouldn't want to document on the event because 99% of the event was incredible, unbelievable, mind-boggling, but the few could ruin it and will ruin it, and also will kill people, if not themselves, at some point.
That's the big problem.
And because we couldn't film it and we didn't want to film it, it was the first thing I wanted to talk about on this podcast.
Yeah.
Was just to raise the flag that say, if any of you are listening and you maybe overdid it a little bit, or if any of you are thinking of taking part in this event, firstly, do not be encouraged to act the way that some of the idiots do, because I think I saw a bit of that peer pressure of, we noticed it, didn't we? A couple of the other cars who had been behaving all of the rally, we'd suddenly get in the mix or in a convoy or at lunch, some of the other guys were mobbing them up. Oh, mate, you got a very nice car there, but you're not using it properly. Then we'd follow him out of lunch and
you heard that, didn't you?
Yeah.
I didn't see that. But.
Which, and then suddenly people were like, oh, well, I'm going to go for an overtake and getting it a bit wrong and stuff like that. So we had the best time because basically, mate, we did our own thing.
We did.
I think that's why we enjoyed it so much. If I had a little bit of a smaller penis, and it's small enough, but if it was even smaller, and I thought, I've got to keep up with it, I'm not having this, you're not coming past me, look at how good I can drive, we'd be dead.
For sure. And I'm glad you're not like that, because I am a little bit like that. but no, wait a minute.
Within reason.
But I wouldn't drive like that. If they started doing that, but what I would have done, I would have marked their cards and wait till I got in the hills, then give it to them. Because they would have crashed.
Well, they would have crashed. And weirdly enough, and this was Tony's big sort of moment that he was so thrilled about. And actually, I think I do have some footage of him reacting to that. I just don't know whether it's made it into the edit yet because I haven't edited all the videos. Once we got into the hills and onto the twisties, where theoretically these cars are at their best and is really where you have an excuse to start pushing on.
Should be.
They all cruised.
Yeah.
That's what we couldn't understand. That's where I was like, great, now I can start to unleash the car a bit. We kept getting held up by all the idiots who were driving like absolute psychos in amongst traffic on the motorway or just around town. Like people were like launching it like 50 kilometer speed limits or 40 kilometer speed limits, and they're launching it through town over opposite side of the road. Oh. Anyway, we sound like old men, but it was important for us to say, and I say I don't want it to ruin what is an incredible event, and it didn't ruin our experience, but I want to do it as an advisory to anyone who's thinking about participating, and hopefully a bit of a slap around the face for any of you that thought, actually, maybe I did drive like a bit of an idiot, because there were enough wives there telling off various husbands or partners.
Oh, that would have happened.
Yeah.
Sure.
Oh, yeah. We didn't need to do it in the moment.
Yeah.
But anyway, so that was our realization on day one, is that between these events, we got to get cracking on. But also we've got to nail the special stages, because once you'd figured out the route, because like, okay, we've got a chance here now, Tony. We rock up at our first special stage. Do you want to try and explain how a special stage works and how we completely fluffed it?
So we had Sam knew that we could download this app for this special stage.
By the way, recommended by a listener.
By record. Thank you very much. So this stage was a small timed stage so you'd have various times for 4 or 5 sections. So and they were all different. So say half a kilometre, and they'd say you got to do 23 kilometres an hour, and then that's the time you got to do it in. You got a minute to do it in, and then that's how you get your speed. So Sam said, use this app. So I bought the iPad, we plugged it all in, gets to the first stage. He said, mate, just press that button and then leave it, and it will count down. So we gets there. We cocked it right up. We goes through the first thing and it started counting again. And I don't think it was that was our fault.
I think it was the app.
I think we misread the app. So the first stage was completely out the window, and it wasn't until the end of the first day. We said, "Don't worry, mate. Don't worry. We'll now the time where we have to get to the stage where we can get
the time checks, the overall time checks throughout
within
the
minute.
Yeah,
we'll now that. Anyway, it appears that's not the end of the world. The time checks, because you don't get hardly any points for that. It's the time staged and the average. There was 2, an average stage and a time stage. They're the ones where you get the points and you have to now. So on the first day out of 112 cars or 116 cars,
something like that,
we were 91st.
93rd.
What, 93?
So here's some behind the scenes that didn't make it on camera. So the first day is from Desenzano del Garda, which is just outside Brescia, over to Rimini. So it's a slightly shorter day than the classic cars. Rimini is out on the coast, so we'd had this quite long day. We must have been arriving there at sort of 9 p.m-ish, I think. It was dark.
It was late, mate.
It was late. We were a bit tired, because it's the first day. It was full on.
Yeah.
We were tired, and we were both starving because
Left at 2.
Yeah, left at 2. We hadn't really had lunch. We had a late breakfast, and we hadn't really had lunch, so we were both starving.
Yeah.
And all we kept thinking is, I just can't wait for dinner. So we arrive into Rimini, and we're trying to figure out where to park up the cars. We got a bit lost because it was dark, and we weren't reading the route book. And we finally turn up. We see some cars. Right, here we go. Turn off the car. Because there are so many of us, you're split up between hotels. So when you pay your €12,000 for the 3 nights, Ferrari just handle all the hotels for you, and it says minimum 4-star. So all these towns you're going to, they just tell you which hotel you're in. And we weren't in the same place that dinner was. We were already a bit annoyed. We're like, oh, I've got to walk over there. Let's just go to dinner, mate. So up we go, beautiful terrace, the Grand Hotel, the Grand Palais Rimini. So anyway, beautiful building, amazing terrace. We're like, oh, here we go. And the whole day, Tony had been talking about having fish for dinner. It's all he wanted. I don't know what was up with him. He just kept banging, I'm going to have a lovely piece of fish later. Oh, I'm in Italy, having a whole nice little sea bass.
That's it, yeah.
That's all you were talking about.
Yeah, it was, yeah.
So we sit down, we find this little table by ourselves, classic us. Big table, but we find it, one by ourselves. And we're sitting there and we're catching up on social media and doing our bits and bobs. So we go, oh God, where's that? Get a drink or something like that. It'd been 45 minutes at this point.
It's 10 p.m. now.
It's now 10 p.m. and we're like, oh God, we're a bit tired.
I want to go to bed.
A couple of friends come over who'd been helping us out with the rally. So, we're catching up. They say, let's join you. So, yeah, please do. They sit down. We're chatting away. We discover the rankings for the day. We're all buzzed. Oh, mate, let's see how we got on. Discover we're 93rd. Mood hits rock bottom. Our mates are laughing at us going, you haven't got a clue.
Well, we didn't.
They've been sitting down for about 30 minutes now. We're going, where's this bloody food?
Yeah.
It's now like 10:30. No food. We've been there for about an hour.
Yeah.
And we're going, we've got to be up at 6 a.m., 5:30 tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
We just want to eat something and go to bed. Finally, the food comes out. Little sort of Michelin star. Here's your coup de tête.
Aperitif.
Aperitif with a amuse de bouche. Fuming. So don't worry, mate. Main course is coming. This one's good. About 11:15, out comes the most mediocre slice of meat. No fish for Tony.
Oh, fuming.
Mediocre slice of meat, and we were both just like, we're going to bed. So we stood up. I think everyone at the table thought we were rude, so you know who you were sitting at our table. Apologies if we ran away, but we were both so because at that point, firstly, I had to debrief and brief the camera crew who were with us. Josh and Matt did a fantastic job, but every single night we had to look at the route for the next day, work out where they were going to go, work out the plan, review footage, blah blah. I was also trying to download podcast stuff, and anyway, so I was like, I got an hour and a half work to do.
Yeah.
So we just got up and left. And we vowed, never again shall we participate in a Ferrari dinner.
Yeah.
And actually it was the most sensible thing that we did, because the following day, arriving into Rome, everyone had been building up. Mate, the arrival to Rome is spectacular. You get a police escort, you drive around town 100 kilometres an hour. It's so insane. Like, it's the best thing. And I'd heard this from so many people. Just wait until the drive into Rome. So by the time we got to the finish line in Rome, it was about 9 p.m. probably.
It was easy 9 p.m, mate. It was a long day.
It was a long day,
14-hour day.
Yeah.
Day 2 was 14 hours.
And by this point, you had lost your cool a bit. You were hungry. You were tired and hungry.
I was hungry. We both were, mate.
100%.
We were both hungry and tired.
I think I knew what was ahead. I think you'd thought, right, we've made it to Rome. That's got to be it. I just want to park up and have some food.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh no, mate, this goes on. So we then had queue after queue. We had to go up on a bridge and shake some guy's hand that we didn't know who he was. And there was another queue. And
he said our name out loud.
He said our name out loud. And we waved to the crowd.
That goes data protection.
Yeah.
I mean, that's got to be illegal.
And then the police escort starts. And maybe this year they got something a bit wrong, because
they got my name wrong.
Well, firstly, they never pronounced the D at the end of Tony Denard. It was always Tony Denard.
Yeah, it was, yeah.
It's Mr. Denard. But we start off on the police escort and we just sat in traffic for about an hour. Didn't we? The police escort was they were a bit distracted, I think. So finally it gets to like 11:15 and we're in some multi-story car park in Rome, fuming, exhausted, tired, long day, going, we are not going to that Ferrari dinner. So we go up some escalators and we're on the like main strip where all the classics are coming by.
In Rome. Everyone's
there with their camera phones. We're like, oh, noisy cars. We turn to the right, we see a restaurant, like, oh, this would be nice. Let's just go in here. It looks busy. I got a table for 2. Yeah, inside. Oh, yeah, no problem, inside. In we go. I'm sitting there, I'm looking at the menu.
So hungry.
And I'm going, oh, this all looks all right. And then I see a thing which is like, blah, 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 con Harry's Bar. And if you don't know, Harry's Bar is a super famous restaurant from Venice. They've got a few around the world, but super famous.
Nice food as well.
Really nice food.
Yeah.
Very expensive. Very, very expensive. So I'm like, oh, that's
On expenses.
That's weird. That's funny that they've got a meal from Harry's Bar. And then I turn over the page, it goes, Harry's Bar special. I'm like, huh. And I pull the menu down and I look at the plate, and the plate says, Harry's Bar. And I look at Tony and I go,
we was going
well,
to
of
Harry's
course
Bar.
you did, mate. So I look at Tony and I go, oh, mate, we're in Harry's Bar. He goes, yeah, why do you think I picked this place? The most expensive restaurant in Rome. I mean, to be honest, it was required. We had a lovely lady serenade us from the piano.
And I had
all night.
fish.
You had fish finally. And we went, okay, this saved the day a little bit, but boy, were we tired. This is the thing is, the days were so long.
Yeah.
And because of the pace you're running, so you're flat out, firstly. So you're really focusing, concentrating, getting through traffic, avoiding accidents. You're reading pace notes or the route. Then we've got the special stages, 30-degree heat, filming and managing the filming crew. We were just ruined, weren't we?
We were ruined, yeah. And as well, so we went to bed on day 2 after already probably being up 16 hours, I would say. And we had to get back up, mate, at 5:30 again the next morning.
Day 3, the longest day.
The longest day. So we didn't even have any breakfast. We just wafted a coffee down. I remember as I come down the stairs, you said, mate, there's a coffee. Because you got down a couple of minutes before me and you went, mate, there's a coffee. We're going. Again, walks out of our hotel, walks to a car park. I mean, I'm not used to that, by the way. Parking my car 4 miles away from
the hotel.
where we're staying, kind of thing.
That did piss you off, didn't it?
It pissed me off, yeah, because you're at an exclusive event. I mean, I'm used to people bringing cars to me.
I mean, but the thing is, it's 115 cars, so...
I understand,
especially in central Rome, finding somewhere to park. And that one was one of the closer ones, let's face it. Like,
yeah.
Rimini, we really did walk for 15 minutes to find the cars.
We literally walked for 15 minutes, yeah. So we were really tired. We had to get up really early in the morning. And then we had facing us the longest day, as you said.
Big day. This is the famous one, which is Rome all the way up to basically back to Milan. It's... why have I now forgotten the name? San Maggiore Terminal. Anyway.
Yeah.
It's near Milan. So this huge day ahead of us. You know, I think I'd had 4 hours sleep. I definitely counted. And we had this sort of walk to the thing. And we're driving out and nailed the film crew in the perfect place. Josh and Matt nailed it. Had a beautiful drive out. But we felt up against it, didn't we? We
did. And initially the day, and I think it was this day, it started off really well.
Yep.
Great roads. Because we probably... on the Thursday, we had some good roads and some bad roads. We sat in some traffic. We didn't sit in some traffic, but there was a part of the Thursday that had some really good roads in it, and we was really enjoying ourselves because me and Sam, both of us, we both do lots of road trips, and we like nice
mountain roads or canyon roads from you if you're from California.
No traffic, lots of corners, sweeping. That's what we like to drive.
Absolutely. I'm not about the motorway life.
No, me too. Yeah,
flat out in a straight line does nothing for me.
Boring. Yeah. So
we had a bit of that on the Thursday. You're right.
We had a bit of that. Yeah. So we had a bit of the really nice roads, and then on Friday morning, initially when we left, it kind of started to carry on like that. And I thought, this is brilliant. Like, this is what it's all about now. Maybe this is going to be the rest of the trip. So
we arrived into Sienna. Remember the high we were on?
Mate, was that the bit with the horses?
In the square.
That was the highlight of the trip for me. Yeah. When we drove into Sienna and drove into that, I'd describe it as a big courtyard.
Piazza.
Piazza. That is a memory that I'll never ever forget. Yeah. That was like amazing.
Because you're right, we'd had this incredible morning. We were buzzing. We'd driven some great roads. We just come across a pista, didn't we? Both of our favourites. Because the whole rally, we were both desperate to see some pistas because we never saw them. We were like, because numbering wise, they were like 560, 570 because of their years of production compared to us down in the 612s. So we were desperate to see some pistas, see what they were like driving like and see them in anger. And the only time we'd seen one to that point was when the idiots were coming past. We were in a tunnel, and a pista spider pulls in front of us, and he's sitting there and he lines the guy up in front of us. And in a tunnel, he goes for the overtake of this car, and the car goes like massive snap, and he's gone.
Yeah,
he just carried it through, and we were both like, "Oh my god!" And that was hilarious. But that was the only time we'd seen a pista until our arrival into Sienna,
for sure.
And he pushed us up the hill.
And I mean, we'd spent loads of time following SF90s and seeing SF90s and witnessing how fast they are on a straight line, but they have very different characteristics to a pista, obviously, because pista's got semi-slick tyres, and it just, like Sam said, it just always snaps on you for no reason.
Such an aggressive car.
It's loads more aggressive than an SF90 because of the way the power is and whatnot. And it was just so funny. We laughed for about 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Like, it was
the first time we'd seen a pista the whole trip, and the guy nearly wrote it off in a tunnel, but he just carried it so well. So yeah, we got to Sienna, we were like, oh my God, on top of the world. We were buzzing, we were high-fiving, everyone was taking pictures. Tony was like, I don't want to get back in the car, I want to walk and take photos.
Yeah.
Like, that was when I'd noticed I'd done a bit of damage to the 360. We'll cover that again. And
we
I
had
didn't
a coffee,
even care.
didn't we, after?
We had a coffee.
Beautiful
I was like,
coffee.
This is just literally the best day.
Yeah.
Then
it was hot.
It went rapidly downhill.
Oh, mate. So it went from the best day to the worst day.
And you know why that was? After Sienna, we stopped at a petrol station to regroup with the camera guys, figure out where we were at with our day, look at footage, fill up, just plan a load of stuff. You were actually doing a tiny bit of work as well, do you remember?
I was, yeah.
So we were pulled over at this petrol station probably for maybe even 30 minutes. And because we were running near the back, if we were 612, I think the last number might have been 628, something like that.
Yeah.
It didn't take long for the field to come through.
They'd all gone.
Now, the thing is, if you're running as part of a Mille Miglia convoy, you do get police support. So you have police motorbikes that ride alongside the convoy, you have police cars, you have the pace cars, you have official cars.
Yeah.
And something we definitely need to talk about, which you haven't really yet, is you have public and local councils aiding you along the route. So you have local police people stopping traffic, you have public warning you about bumps in the road. Like, it's a whole thing.
Yeah.
The minute you drop out of that, you're just a Ferrari driving through Italy.
Yeah.
It's like all the people, all the infrastructure disappears with the last car. And it's quite hard to understand because the classic rally, it really isn't far behind us.
No.
Like, if you wait an extra half an hour, you're in and amongst the classics, which is also a disaster.
Oh, we was a couple of times.
A couple of times we got involved with the classics, and that was a headache. But yeah, so on this day, we had dropped right back off the main Ferrari pack. And we assumed that would be fine. We assumed the roads were going to continue. We'd just catch everything up because everyone drove so slowly on the twisty roads.
Yeah.
But no, the route was decided to descend towards Viareggio on the coast. And all we can say is that on the coast, no one cared about Mille Miglia.
No.
There wasn't a soul out on the roads watching or cheering us on. There wasn't a single local police person or council person or infrastructure. And there was definitely no kind of Mille Miglia official. So we were literally an old Ferrari in traffic at the seaside.
Yeah. And at that point, that is where I lost the will to live.
Yes.
Full on lost the will to live.
For 4 hours, including a bit of a lunch stop, we averaged 23 kilometers an hour.
Yeah.
For 4 hours.
Yeah.
And yeah, Tony lost his cool.
Yeah.
You just went very quiet.
Yeah, because I was annoyed, mate. Because I didn't want to just sit in traffic. Like, it's not what it's about. It's not what I expect a road trip to be about. And you as well, to be fair. Like,
I was fuming.
You didn't have the ump as much as me, but mainly probably because you were driving as well. At least you had something to occupy you. There was points I was quite happy to sit. I wasn't quite happy to sit there, but you know what I mean. Like, I was in there. I mean, I am of a sense of person where you can't, I couldn't change it. I'm there. I wasn't going home. I wouldn't leave you. I'm in the car, but I was just pissed off. Like, I just thought, flipping hell. I've been in the car 9 hours already. We've still got another 200 kilometres to go at that point. And I'm thinking, flipping hell, please let this day end. Like, I have just about. And as well, don't forget, 3 or 4 hours before, we was in Sienna, in that Piazza or
Having the
whatever
best
it is.
time of our lives.
So we'd gone from right up there to literally like being run over by a lorry.
Yeah.
Literally.
And the thing is, you say you weren't going to leave, but you'd been quiet for about an hour. And I was letting you just dwell in it. I was like, I'm not going to, I think if I say anything right now, he might get out and leave.
No, I wouldn't. I'd just got in on you.
And the first thing you said was, if my mates were here, they would have just left.
What?
And
They would have.
I went, oh, what? Just gone back to the hotel? You went, no, I left the whole thing. Just just given up. Just left.
Yeah, yeah.
And I was like, oh, all right, well, sucks for them because what a silly thing to do.
Yeah, because that's not what we envisaged as a road trip. Like they just would have had enough of sitting in all that traffic, and not because they give up, because they're not them sort of people, just because like what have I paid all this money for?
It was crap, and what we later discovered, it was because we had dropped so far back, because we asked everyone else, how was your Via Reggio experience? And there were 2 or 3 other cars with us, but everyone else had just been escorted through by the police.
Yeah.
And we found that on the following day, if you get the police escort, life's great. Like at that point, you have zero concerns. So it was our fault for falling back, and we'll blame that a little bit on filming and doing a bit of work post Sienna.
We're just trying to do our jobs.
But at the same time, it's not quite how it should be, because just because you drop a little bit far back off the pack, you're suddenly in no man's land. And yeah, we both of us had a miserable time. I was like, look, this is the testing part of the event. This is an endurance challenge. This is a competition rally. It's not all going to be absolutely dreamy.
Yeah.
We just got to get through this. And thank God we did, because we got through it. We stopped again, did a bit of filming, did a bit of a cold reset, and then got treated with, firstly, the Cisa Pass.
Yeah.
Which on the day we called it the Caesar Pass.
Yeah.
Probably not. It's CISA, so help me Italians. Cisa. Arguably, definitely the best road of the trip.
100%.
A road that both of us want to go back to, probably one of Italy's best roads. It was a great
and I think
road.
I've done it before with Lamborghini, because I've done a Tuscany Lamborghini trip. So I said to you at the time, I couldn't remember, but if it's one of the best roads in Tuscany, I probably have done. I probably did do it before.
And because we had dropped back again and done a bit of a research, we had a completely clear run.
We did, yeah.
It was absolutely unreal. It was genuinely one of the best moments, and it was one of the moments where we just needed to just forget about everything, forget about the competition, forget about the filming, and just enjoy being in that moment and allowing the car to run free and allow us being into Italy. And, there were some moments, even though we were there for work and there to capture it all, that was a very important moment that we just had to not worry about anything else.
Yeah, but we didn't
and just
know,
drive.
did we?
And just drive.
Yeah.
And it was genuinely amazing and super cool. And then at that point, we started to catch the other cars. We had some amazing driver roads. I harassed the hell out of an F8.
You did,
Oh my God.
Yeah.
You were like, oh, let's see what he could do. And I was right on the back of him.
We got some footage of it as well.
We got some great footage of it.
You done well, mate, to be fair.
And it was the one and only time that successfully I scared the crap out of you.
Well, I'm not the best of passengers anyway. I don't mind being in the car with you, and there's some other people I don't mind being in the car with. But there was this one moment, and I like to think I can normally judge quite well, which is why I don't flap too much. If someone half knows what they're doing, I'm fine, because I can kind of read what they're going to do anyway. We goes into this corner, and I'm sitting there, and I think it's because I was looking at the book, and then I looked up, and I said to him, I had a little bit of a panic, and I said, mate, you're going way too fast.
You had a big panic. You went, no, we're going too fast. We're going too fast.
We're going too fast. We wasn't, but I think it was because I was looking down, and then I looked up. And then this corner come, and I just had a little bit of a flap.
I was like, we're all right, mate. Inherently, I don't think you trusted the brakes on my car. I think that was your big concern throughout the trip.
It's my biggest concern on all cars, mate.
Yeah.
It's one of the biggest things for me on a car, like brakes and grip. And I think it's because of all the track stuff I've done. You don't realise how much you rely on a set of brakes. And
of course,
when the car was getting hot, and to be fair, I slagged that car off, but it done everything you asked it to do. It got hot a couple of times, but so did a few of the other stuff. And don't forget, it's 20 years old, by the way. And the only time it really, really got really out of its comfort zone in terms of temperature is when we'd caned it and then come to a halt and then sat in 20-minute traffic with all the other cars waiting to get our stamp for the Cecil stage.
And we didn't get any warnings. I just electively chose to pull over and vent
You
things.
just kept to high, but had you not, it would have overheated for sure.
I think it would have got too hot. Yeah.
But in general, it done exactly what you asked it to do, and you kind of have to commend it for that because it's 20 years old. And we've said it before, it is one of the best example 360s full stop. So I expected it to do the trip. But
did you have a nicer time in the car than you thought you would?
I did, yeah.
More comfortable than you were expecting?
No.
I mean, those bumps.
No, I'm not. It wasn't the bumps, mate. The actual ride wasn't that bad. It was the seat. I mean, after about 2 hours,
seats.
no, the seats wasn't that uncomfortable. I had sweaty arse, and my back was dripping.
It was so hot.
It was hot.
It was so hot.
The aircon it's 20-year-old aircon, so it's like
it's effective, but it's not modern.
It's like an asthmatic blowing at you.
That's an old Top Gear joke, isn't it?
Yeah.
But with a straw.
Yeah, it's literally like that, mate.
No, it's not that bad, mate. It's not that bad. It cooled us. It cooled us down. But if you open the window for a second, heat back in.
Yeah, you're right.
Like it was.
Yeah.
But it's not modern car aircon, but it's very good. And look, I'm going to come out and say it because you won't. But that car, I think, blew my mind with what it achieved. We kept in with brand new modern Ferraris. We thrashed it as much as we needed to and wanted to. We never, apart from the one moment in that town where I was like, look, I'm going to proactively choose to stop and vent this. We're not in a rush. Let's protect ourselves. There was never a moment where I was like, oh, I don't want to push the car too hard. Like, we did everything. We harassed F8s. We were in the mix with SF90s. We competed. We bossed it, and the car was absolutely spectacular.
Yeah, the car done exactly what you wanted it to do, and fair play to the car. And yes, there was a few modern stuff that you harassed, but I think that's because you know what you're doing and they didn't. Because if they knew what they're doing,
they should have pissed off.
Mate,
there is no way that I should have been harassing an F8.
No chance.
Like, not a chance.
And no disrespect to him. Everyone has different levels of driving, but you're very competent in the way you drive. You drive safely, you drive briskly. You're very used to driving like that as well, by the way. You're used to your car. Some people, that's the only trip he'll do for the whole year. And he doesn't drive really a lot at all. So he would have been absolutely cruising and you're flat out.
And he probably thought I was an arsehole.
He probably thought you was an arsehole.
We're sitting here slagging everyone. He's probably going, there was this 360. Guy was a nutter.
And the bloke
pushing
in the road,
me along the road.
The bloke in the Portofino as well.
Which one?
There was a...
Which colour? No, don't say which colour.
No, I won't say which colour. There was a Portofino with a foreign plate. And it was always in the way.
Oh, yes, always in the way.
Yeah, there's a couple of them that were just...
They were just coming across.
They were just cruising. I mean, fair play. If that's what they've...
Yeah, it's totally fine. Just get out of the way.
Just get out of the way. And I think as well, there was a lot of that on the trip where they just saw 360. Oh, my car's faster. I'm coming. I'm going past it. They didn't take into consideration, whether you can drive it or not. It's just, and probably the challenge Tridali and the Scuds probably had that further up front where they just thought that's a really slow car. I'm coming past it.
Yeah.
But it's not always about that.
Yeah, it's not.
You know what I mean?
It's about the driver. So what cars caught your eye then of everything that we were passed by or chased? What was the one that you went, oh, I would have liked to have been in that this week? That's not a pista, because I know pista's too obvious a thing to say.
Well, we didn't...
didn't really see any pistas.
Yeah, we didn't really see any, and it's one of my favourite cars, full stop. So had I had a choice, I would have been in a pista. As fast as I know they are, I could not comprehend how fast them SF90s are on a straight line. I don't think I want one, although I did speak to you briefly about, should I get one, or blah, blah, blah. I don't think it's me. I think it's a bit too soft. But mate, they are so fast in a straight line. Do you remember that blue one that come past us?
Oh my God. He drove really well. I didn't actually spot the driver, but of all the nutters, they drove perfectly, like gauged their speed and their performance fantastically well. When they wanted to overtake, pulled clear out, checked, and then just blitzed it.
But there was that at that point, he'd done about 10 cars.
Oh yeah, he launched everyone.
Felt like, and a big Arctic lorry, which felt like in about 3 seconds. Honestly, they are like an absolute bullet when they go. It was insane how fast they are. I know you wasn't that keen on them, and I know you used to like them. I like to see the Roma on the road because I think they're a pretty car, and although they're a GT car, but I think that would have been fairly good for the trip. But I think the car that we both liked was the F8.
The real surprise of the bunch.
Yeah.
Never saw that coming.
Yeah.
Both of us stepped away going, well, those F8s look pretty good,
They
don't
look good on the road, don't they?
They look really good. They were quick. They were driven well and also stupidly. But yeah, I think on day one we were like, oh yeah, 812 GTSs, what a vibe. But by the end of the trip, it was all about the F8s. We just both kept saying Spiders or Coupes. It's looking really good.
Yeah. Oh, mate, well, there's one real moment we forgot.
No, go on. I was going to bring it up. Go on.
No, there's one before then. The 812, because we spoke about this before. I nearly bought an 812 GT. I was really, really close to buying one. They do sound lovely.
They sound lovely. Such
when
nice
they
cars.
were gunning it past, or we was having a coffee somewhere. Do you remember when we was in that petrol station and we let the car cool down for half an hour, and we heard a noise in the hills, and then this 812 GTS just come blatting past us flat chat, and it did sound unbelievable.
Super cool.
But one of the other real moments, the next big moment, was the Enzo. Following the Enzo.
We managed one morning to kind of bump into the Enzo, the one and only Enzo on the rally, and basically follow it for a little bit in and around the town and out on the road. Super nice guys, the guys who were driving that. And it was special, I think, for both of us to see an Enzo on the road. And they were having a go. They were definitely having a go.
Yeah.
I mean, clunky old car to be driving on. So
flip it out.
Some of the roads in Italy are so bad.
No, all of the roads in Italy, not some.
I mean, how my car didn't lose body parts, I don't know. But how that Enzo survived, some of the craters that exist in Italy was mad. But it was super cool to see.
You got some mega footage of that as well. Do you remember when we went into that
Lakeside town?
Yeah, when we had the sea on the right hand side and we
Super
just followed
cool,
it.
right?
Oh mate, that was like
beautiful.
and the Enzo was like one of my all time favourite cars, so it was mega to see.
So, in summary, would you ever do the event again?
No.
Why not?
Because I mean, maybe it'd be a little bit different. I would have liked to have been in a modern car. And actually, I think if you were being honest, I think you would like to have been in a modern car as well. Not because you don't adore your car, just because of what the trip is and what it demands out of a car, and you trying to change gear in a 400 horsepower car. You bring a knife to a gunfight, basically. So if I was to do it again, I would want to drive. But then, would I want to pay all that money to most of the time sit in traffic, to be sometimes surrounded by a load of pillocks that can't drive on straight lines, to not stay in any really great hotels, to not really eat fantastic food.
And probably not win.
And if you do win, you get a trophy at the end.
As far as we know, the grand prize is little things like, we were like, it should be a 812 Competizione slot or something like that, or a Daytona SP3 or some money. Maybe.
Can you imagine if it was money?
Maybe it is. I mean,
imagine
that's the thing. That's the thing is we don't actually know. So we ended up coming 45th or 43rd, 45th, I think, maybe in the end, because we did slightly special on the last day. Kind of give up. At our highest point, we were 42nd. That's because we royally screwed up day one. But we learned very quickly that to really win it, you've got to be super on it. Like the people properly competing had all the equipment, all the tech, they all knew what they were doing. Yeah. So yeah, it's very hard to win. So, I would agree with you. Look, I wouldn't change a thing about what we just did. I didn't wish we were in a more modern fast car, but if I were to ever do it again, I would do it in a modern fast car. I wanted that experience. I love that experience. It was the perfect experience for the 360, the whole year that I'm doing with it.
Yeah.
My journey with that car, it was perfect.
Yeah.
It was exhausting. It was flat out. It was tiring as hell. And it's not something that I would rush back to do, at least in the short term. Could I see myself doing it again in 20 years? Potentially.
Fair.
But yes, I would like to do it in something that can be easier to drive at the higher speeds.
Yeah.
Because that's the thing, because we were just literally ragging the crap out of my car for 4 days to keep in the mix.
Yeah.
Whereas if you were in a Roma, an 812, an F8, an SF90, you probably could have cruised a lot more or been at more sort of within that window of performance and still been right in the mix.
And as well, which always I found really hard to gauge, and we had it a couple of times where, you'd come up to a car and you'd say, mate, all right to go. And because I'm used to a modern car that's really fast, I would go, because I wouldn't,
you didn't know how to judge it.
I didn't know how to judge.
But we got good communication there. We figured that out.
We did figure it out. Yeah. But it was a truly unforgettable experience, a memory that I will have forever. Especially, there was points of it that I will never ever forget. Like I said, the Sienna bit, like that was incredible. And mate, something you'll never do. Like you can't drive. You can't drive there.
Well, not with a lot of Ferraris either.
Correct.
And that's the thing, and that's kind of what I want to end on. Is whilst we've both sitting here now saying, look, we're not rushing to do it again. It was an unbelievable, unforgettable experience, and I want to encourage people to go out and do it.
Yeah.
But it's so trying that it's not something that I think you can rush back to. But there are plenty of people who do it year on year on year on. But for us, it was full on.
Yeah.
It's the fact that really it was an amazing showcase of Italy's love for the car.
Yeah.
And I don't think there's anywhere else in the world that could host an event like that.
Chance.
And there are other events. Like people will comment now and tell me about other historic rallies. And look, peaking to Paris is something that I want to do at some point in my life, but wouldn't come close because apart from Via Reggio, throughout the entire route, not just every town and village we passed through, every kilometre of road, there was a local Italian on the side of the road cheering us on.
They were. Gas!
They all came out of their house. You had the old men sitting in their chairs, waving their flags. You had the old women standing up and giving us hurrah. You had kids. Like, the atmosphere was unbelievable.
Yeah.
And that pure passion is intoxicating. And our moments of being a bit sad and being a bit fed up and being a bit tired were immediately turned up on end by the enthusiasm of people as we're driving through Italy.
Yeah, and you do get that in Italy as well, even when you're not in a big convoy. The Italians, whenever I drive through Italy, they do naturally just move out the way. If they see a supercar, they are very accommodating. If you go to Switzerland, they want to kill you.
Yeah.
But do you know what I mean? Like,
or as we discovered, the Netherlands. How dare you? But you're right.
Yeah.
They're car-minded, but the fact that they are all sitting out on the streets for 6 to 8 hours to see the Ferrari tribute, then the classics, and all these different elements, you literally couldn't experience that anywhere else.
Yeah.
And that's, I think, what makes it special. Because if the crowds weren't there, it wouldn't have felt as so incredible.
No, especially when we were going through some of the villages. And there was one village we went through, we couldn't move.
Yeah.
Remember, mate? Like
God.
You could not move for people. They all had to move out of the way because, don't forget, people, the roads, everything is still open. Nothing changes. Like, we're driving through these places. We're driving down this road. Nothing's closed off. You just have an escort in terms of getting to places quicker. But, you know, it was normal working.
Italian health and safety, not quite the same as the UK.
Can you imagine? We said that, didn't we?
Oh, my God.
This would never happen in London.
Never happen.
No chance.
But yeah, an absolutely amazing experience. I hope you've seen and enjoyed the videos over on the main channel. If they're both out, as I say, I don't know when this is going out in relation to those videos. I'm a mess.
It's a mess.
But it was, an amazing experience. And I said it at the beginning and I'll repeat it again. I'm so glad that you were there. And I don't think there were really anyone else that could have done that trip except for Vicky with me, because it was super trying. We had to really trust in each other a lot. And actually probably worked out well that you couldn't drive because of your license issues.
Mate.
Like, in the grand scheme of things, it worked out kind of perfectly.
Yeah,
so.
I don't think... I mean, I wouldn't have wanted to drive your car how you drove your car, and you wouldn't have wanted me to drive it how you drove it
I would have been furious.
Yeah, I mean, my car, I wouldn't care if you drove it flat out because it's modern, and I wouldn't give a toss. I think you'd get way too scared to drive it.
I'd be cruising. Where's the cruise control, Tony?
But you know what I mean? Like, it actually worked out quite well because I wouldn't have wanted to drive your car. Not how you were driving it, for sure.
Well, we had an amazing time.
We
did. We hope you all enjoyed it. And maybe this is the start of many more adventures that Tony and I will do together. I tried to convince him to do Peking to Paris, but I think he immediately said no. So, but there'll be others. So yes, if you've enjoyed the episode, of course, give it a thumbs up if you're watching here on YouTube. Subscribe, turn on notifications for future episodes. If you want to follow Tony, he's at Tony Gravelwood Car Sales on most social media platforms. I'm at Seen Through Glass on most social media platforms. And we'll be back with you for another episode next week. Bye-bye.
See ya.